back on the flywheel. I talked to my engine builder, and as I mentioned in a previous segment, and I didn't want to drill them all out because these are so critical. If these come off, it's going to be a bad day. So I'm trying to, I guess, minimize the risk. And so I've got 5 bolts in, and here's the theory behind this whole thing. So I'm gonna have to clearance this hole where I've marked it with the Sharpie, and just with the rat tail. I'm not gonna go in with the drill bit or anything. You can see if you look down in the hole, it's just shy of being, well, it's round, but on the top of the hole there, I think that's where it needs to work with the file. So I'm not going to go crazy with this with like a die grinder unless I have to. But yeah, so this is, got to make this step, otherwise we can't keep assembling this thing. So let me pull this thing off real quick. These are ARP Pro bolts that came with the transmission kit. And you know, if you ask the crank manufacturer, they're going to say, oh, it's not us, it's the flywheel manufacturer, and then vice versa. So I didn't even bother calling either one of those guys. But the guy that built the engine told me just to clearance the one, and everything else is kind of secure by the other 5. So so yeah, hopefully that works out. And I'm going to keep this at the 11 o'clock because I want to go back to this exact same index. So I'm going to make a mark here to ensure that I go back to this same hole. Because if I start adjusting a hole and then put it in a different spot, it's probably not going to work as effectively. So as you saw in the previous segment, I have dropped this on the ground already and messed up my finger in the process by trying to save it. Don't try to save it. It's a dumb move. That's my finger. So just let her fall. It's fine. The teeth are fine. They are super what's the word I'm looking for? They're really stout and they're not gonna get damaged, so I'm not worried about it. This guy is heavy. Alright, so I got my rat tail file here. These are just handles. This is not really part of the file, but you can actually just transfer these handles so it's easier on your hands. So I'm just going to work on the top where I marked it there. And I'm not trying to take off a bunch of material, but if there's any sort of flashing there or any sort of manufacturing slag, hopefully I'll get it off. I'm trying to just kind of deburr it really. Hopefully this works. But I'm not going to work the whole entire hole. I just want to work the minimum to get in there. This is a first for me. I've never had to do this before. Alright. Let's see how this works. Put the other bolts in first. Getting one secure is super important. Your toes will thank you. And I have swapped bolts around just to see if it was one of the fasteners, just to make sure, and they all transfer just fine. So I'm not going to go all the way in with them, but it's just like assembling something like suspension, where you just got to get all the bolts in place, and then once everything's there, you tighten it. This guy here, still not. Just not happy. Oh, come on. There it is. still needs more. So I've got this guy in. It's pretty tight, but it is actually threading. So now that I've got all 6 in, and this last one is an interference fit, I can feel it dragging, which is fine by me. We don't want that coming out. So now I'm gonna re-Loctite all this. You want to make sure that you wipe these bolts off from any assembly lube or anything that they come with, otherwise Loctite won't work. So I'm going to 55 foot-pounds. So I did the one that I had to work on, so now I'm going opposite. You want to sneak up on torque values. You never want to go in hard. You want it to be true. Especially this. Good measure. And don't forget to unravel your torque wrench. Alright, got our bell housing on. Didn't put the clutch on because I gotta get this thing back on the stand to swap out the oil pan. So the reason I'm swapping the oil pan is because I got this close to the cross member on a couple days ago and realized that this thing is it's an extended pan, so it's like a stock pan, but it's extended for I think 3 quarts, and this would be a skid plate basically. It would hang like almost 3 inches below the K-frame, which is pointless to me. Like, I don't want my oil pan to be a skid plate, so I ordered a new pan, and it's a road race pan, or a Pro Touring pan is what they call it. It's a Mladen pan, which is supposed to arrive here any minute now. So yeah, I am gonna get this thing back on the engine stand so I can pop that pan off. I also wanted to mention that I put the dial, the dial indicator. I don't know why I can't remember that. And I put it in here, and this hole is actually too small to run the dial indicator that I have, and so I know it's a cardinal sin to do this. I don't have offset dowels in the block, they're just straight dowels, but I'm going to take a gamble because I don't have a small enough dial indicator to do this. But you're supposed to measure the run out in here, so basically have the dial indicator on the center point of the crank and then spin it around, and you're supposed to measure the run out as it goes around, and that run out cannot be more than 7 thousandths, hundredths. It's 0.007, I believe, from the Chrysler manual. So I'm going to take a gamble and just go for it. I'm pretty confident it'll be just fine. So hit me with your mad comments. It's fine. I'm okay with it. Here's a peek inside the engine. We've got the oil pan off to replace it. You see the H-beam rods down there, the SRP pistons, and you can see the hydraulic roller lifter down there. It's a monster cam. All brand new. Here's the part number on the piston. 1153226. It's RPM crank. It's got a little scale on the cylinder walls there from just sitting. That'll get scraped off in one full revolution. But I have to take this pickup off before the new pan's supposed to arrive here in any second. Waiting for the truck to come down the road. But yeah, I gotta unscrew this pickup and sell it with the pan. It had been modified for the stroker though, so I don't know if anybody cares about that. But if y'all need a B-body pan, let me know. It's right here. It's never been ran on the engine, and it's brand and new. I think it's a Mladen or a Canton, I'm not sure, but never been run. So cleaned up the surface here, all the gasket surface. After I scraped it with the razor blade, I hit it with some brake clean, so it's all clean to the touch, and looks pretty good. So I am going to do something that this engine builder did not do. He actually put gasket maker on both sides of the gasket. I typically like to glue the gasket to the bottom of the engine, so if I pull the pan off, I don't ruin the gasket. This is a cork gasket, which I don't like cork personally. It's a big, long debated topic. Some people like cork because it conforms. I personally like the framed silicone gaskets, the reusable ones, and I'm holding up 4 fingers in quotations. But yeah, now you've seen the inside, and there's a rod number, UH 3, UH, let's see, it's like a 0.384, okay, 084. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh wait, here we go. UH062. Huh, wonder why those are different. It's got RPM, 12-point ARP hardware on the rods. Double roller, timing chain. Pretty stout. It's not a huge budget build, honestly. It's pretty affordable for an engine like this. Let me get my pan on, show you. So, the aftermarket really sucks, and pulled my pan off yesterday because it's going to hang below the K-frame, and I can't have that. I don't want my oil pan as a skid plate. So I ordered a new pan. I ordered a Mladen brand Pro Touring pan. I received it yesterday, and the pan calls for 2 different pickups, and I opted for the Mladen 18338, which is 1/2 inch. It does not screw into the block where the oil pickup, or I'm sorry, where the oil pump would draw from. So when I removed the existing oil pickup, I found this, and yeah, that in my engine. And okay, all right, okay, well maybe the stroker crank was connecting with it, and so they clearanced it, fine. And then I saw this on my pickup. Yeah, cheapest pickup money can buy, I'm sure, right here. Call my engine builder. He acted like, oh, every single oil pickup needs to be modified. We use clay and the whole bit. I resist that mindset. I really do. I can't hang with that. I got too much money into this engine to accept that. And he started making excuses before I even asked him if he was happy with that. And I could tell that he just operates on that level. So I am probably done with him. Unfortunately, he's built me like 5 engines, and yeah, it's a bummer. I guess we're just not on the same page for quality. And sometimes I feel like I'm the only guy that's producing quality work. I know I'm not the only guy, but in this industry, aftermarket sucks because it's all made overseas. It's crap. And the biggest problem with this industry is not enough people go back to the auto parts store and say, this part is wrong, return it. They just say, oh, well, it was only $3. I'm just gonna, buy another one. That doesn't fix things, guys. It does not. You guys gotta, if you want this industry to improve, you gotta hold people accountable. And especially the auto parts stores that are selling cheap crap to all of us trying to make a decent car. So anyway, that's my rant. I am going to cut this off. Looks like it had a couple of rosette welds on the side there. I'm going to remove those guys and try to get this fitting off. It's not welded here. Doesn't look like it's welded. It might be powder coated at some point, but I'm going to try to separate this and then put this guy on this guy, which is 1/2 inch. So this is delicate surgery. And it'll be the first time I TIG weld on my machine, which will be cool. I need to set it up anyway, so I haven't TIG welded in probably 3 years. So don't expect greatness, but what you can expect is it will be watertight. I will test it and make sure that there's no pores or holes in it, because it is a pretty critical piece of equipment. So let's get going. So I got these rosette welds ground off, basically flush. So now that they're flat enough, I can drill them out. And I've got my new chest mount for my GoPro on, got for Father's Day. And it has like head mounts and all kinds of mounts, like 50 different mounts in like one case. My son got it for me for Father's Day. Probably one of the best Father's Day gifts I've ever received. So. And because of that, you guys are going to get better quality footage. So it works out for everyone. What happens here when I do this? I had my soft jaws on there and it wasn't working. Let's see if I can release it. Yeah, burn this stuff off. Get this thing off. Hot. is welded in there. Yep, that is welded. Great. I don't know what kind of welding that is. Might be silver solder. Alright, gonna have to cut it, I guess. It's been at least 3 years since I've done this. I'm basically doing a weave pass to get this thing sealed up. I had a couple of pinhole leaks, so I'm doing some sort of a weave pass, not like a Hollywood weave pass, but McDaniel Motorsports weave pass. There's a big difference. Alright, I gotta be loud because the compressor's running and it will be running all day. We're cleaning up some drum brake backing plates that I decided to stick with the drum brakes in the back for now just to save some money. But I got this thing welded up. I have leak tested it over and over. I finally got it. As you can see, I'm not one of those Hollywood welders, but it's leak free. So I screwed it in to the oil pump pickup right here, and this crank bolt was, or this rod I guess was hitting it, so I had to clearance it on this side. See, it was clearanced here, but now I clearanced it here, and so I just ran it through a full stroke, and it does not hit anymore. So it's time to assemble this thing and get it back in the engine and put the oil pump on, or sorry, oil pan. So let's do that. I want to get my Permatex here, not sponsored, but we use this stuff a lot as a thread sealant and a gasket maker. Not really a gasket maker, more on like NPT thread stuff, just as a sealer, and as opposed to like Teflon tape. But this stuff is like glue. It works really well, but it's like roofing tar. It gets everywhere, so you got to be careful about getting it on you, because if you don't wipe it off right away, it's going to be like there forever. So, but in this application, this stuff is way better. So let's get her screwed in. Sorry, I'm getting used to wearing this thing. Chrysler big blocks. The oil pump screws in, as you can see. This guy, oh no, it's too far. There we go. So, and then it comes with an L bracket that goes from here to this main cap bolt. So I'm going to put that guy on. It's probably a 3/4. Of course I don't have one. I do. What do you know? I do. Let's go back to 90 foot-pounds, I believe. Little Loctite for good measure. Keep that there. This torque wrench won't go up high enough. Let me go grab a new one, a bigger one. Going to 90 since it's a 1/2 inch fastener. Oh. Good, Alan, hold on. And don't want that falling off. Now for the main cap. Jeez. Oh, come on. Okay. Just for good measure. Okay. Alright guys, that's it for this video. It's just so much time to do all this stuff, and the engine is not going back on the stand. I put the flex or the flywheel, the clutch, bell housing, and throwout bearing on, and we're gonna mate it with the transmission, but you'll see all of that. But thanks again for watching. We appreciate all of you guys, and we're gonna keep pumping out this footage, but it takes time, and we're gonna make quality video for you guys. So again, thanks a lot for watching. We appreciate you guys, and see you on the next one.